What's going on, guys? It's me, Drew Fan 2016 here, and today we have another model play unboxing video for you guys. I hope you guys are excited for today's video. Today we got two models we'll be unboxing in today's video. We got two cardboard boxes right here, and they're from separate retailers, so I decided to do that. But we got two amazing models to unbox today, and I'm just super excited to add these to my collection, as some of them are actually critical for my airline fleet. So yeah, we're just gonna get started. So how I'm gonna do this is, I think I did this on a video before, is I'm gonna unbox one cardboard box, and then on a separate video I'll unbox the other one, and then we'll proceed into the unboxing, since I think that's a little bit more efficient instead of having to unbox one box and then unbox the model, and then after that I unbox another box and unbox the model. So let's get started with the box on top. I think, yeah, we'll start off with the box on top. So with that being said, let's get started with our first box right here. So let's transition into that video right now. Alright, and here's our box right here. So this first box comes from DG Pilot. Now, if you guys saw this is coming from a mass unboxing, like a future mass unboxing, but this mass unboxing in particular, apparently I was gonna be getting this model as well to join in with the other order, so I decided to unbox that, and then on that mass unboxing, excuse me, it apparently had one model, and this was actually the missing model from that DG Pilot shipment. So I'm not sure what really happened. I think because this particular aircraft was so popular, I guess there were many orders that were filled in, and then pretty much they were out of the shelves. So I think it took a bit of a delay to get those shipments back to DG Pilot. And yeah, here it is right now. So really excited to get this model. This is aircraft that I have in my collection already, so let's get started with the unboxing. And yeah, what is this model in particular? So as I cut the sides right here. Okay, this side is kind of a bit hard to cut. I'm not sure what is going on. Okay, we got it. Alright, and then we're gonna proceed for the top like so. Come on, there we go. And we're just gonna cut through there like that. And then we're gonna open up the flaps, and then inside these packing peanuts we got our model right there. But first I got my invoice. I'm not sure if I want to, okay, this is separate, so I want to try to make sure I don't expose my address or anything. Kind of taking it away like so. Double check to make sure everything's all good. Okay, yeah, just give me a few seconds, guys. I just gotta look at the invoice. Thank you very much for being a member with us, DG Pilot team. Alright, so that should be good. And let's look at that model inside that box. So as I take that model out, it's wrapped in bubble wrap, and it's just surrounded by packing peanuts. Ooh, yes, there she is. Oh man, take a look at her. Alright, so let me just take out all these bubble wrap. We have the NG Models 1/400 scale Hawaiian Airlines Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner. Now, I do have this aircraft in my collection already, but this is actually the second release Hawaiian 787-9. So I'll go over an explanation on why I ended up getting this model in particular, but it's really cool to have another NG Hawaiian model in my collection. So that's it for that model, but we got another box to unbox, so let's move on to the second box. Moving on to the second box, this second box comes from Jet Collector, and this just got delivered a few days ago. Yeah, it was a day ago. It was inside my P.O. box, and I just got this out of the mail today. And this is a model, well, this came from Jet Collector. Did I mention that it was already, it came from Jet Collector? I'm not sure if I did, but just to double check to make sure, this box came from Jet Collector. And this is a model I've been wanting to have in my collection for a bit to add to my fleet of mine. But I'm super excited to add this. I may consider this model a white whale model of mine. So, because I've been looking for this model during the beginning years of my collecting. And yeah, I'm just super excited to finally acquire this model. This is from NG Models, and this is kind of one of the recent releases they had. So, let me just cut through all these like that. And we're gonna take out the flaps right there. My invoice is right there, so I'm just gonna hide that, making sure everything is all clear, and it is. So we're gonna take it out, and inside this bubble wrap, surrounded by it's surrounded by packing peanuts. As the model comes out, yes, man, I'm finally glad to have this. We have the NG Models United Airlines Boeing 767-300ER in the Evil Blue livery. white whale model acquired. I'm really glad to have this in my collection. Gosh, this was a real beauty right here. Finally, I have a United 76 300ER in my collection, and yeah, let's line up all my 2 models. So here are all my 2 models right there. Beautiful wide bodies, I gotta say. And how about that really cool purple blue design on these boxes? That is just really cool to see right there. So yeah, really cool to acquire these in my collection. And yeah, literally the same box size, 767 and 787. So yeah, these are all my 2 models that I'm gonna be unboxing. We're gonna start off with the Hawaiian 787 since that's a older release compared to the 767 that you're seeing on your left. So I do want to start off with the Hawaiian 787, and I'll go further into explanation on why I got this model in the first place. So without being said, let's start off with the Hawaiian 787. Alright, let's begin this unboxing with the NG Models 1/400 scale Hawaiian Airlines Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner. This is the NG Models' second release of a Hawaiian 787-9, and there's a reason on why I ended up getting this model. And I'll explain it to you shortly. So, I got this model because I do have a Hawaiian 787-9 Dreamliner from NG Models already, but that is in the August 2021 release batch. But that particular aircraft has the registration November 780 Hotel Alpha, which technically that was going to be Hawaiian's first Dreamliner, but that ended up being the second delivered Hawaiian Dreamliner, and 781 was actually the first Hawaiian Dreamliner delivered, and this is Hawaiian's second Dreamliner, by the way. So really interesting turn of events right there for Hawaiian Airlines, but I will actually be replacing that model with this one since it has the accurate name and the accurate registration. So this model came out on NG Models' controversial November 2024 releases, and while I can say that release set isn't really the best release set from NG Models, at least they released some really good North American stuff. And the Hawaiian 787 is one of those models right there. So let's get started with the review. So we got the Hawaiian Airlines logo right there, Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner. You got the CGI image of the plane. I honestly really love on how NG Models designed this box. I love the purple shades, like from like a light purple to like a dark purple. I love on how NG Models did this model right here. And then you got the aircraft name, Kapuahi, which I think that's named after like stars. Like they're kind of like named after like stars from the Polynesian like time, because like they would use these stars and constellations as like navigations. And then you got 1/4 scale collectible models like I smell. You got the Boeing licensed product, and you got the aircraft registration, which is November 781 Hotel Alpha, as I mentioned before. I have not seen this aircraft before. I would love to see a Hawaiian Dreamliner, especially for me as a quote-unquote Hawaiian employee. I would love to see a Hawaiian Dreamliner in the future. Maybe, who knows, like it might divert to Sacramento, because like Sacramento actually has a gate that can accommodate a 787-9. And since Hawaiian flies to SMF from like the biggest SMF, like the biggest Hawaiian plane SMF's got is the A330. So we'll see if the 787-9 will come to Sacramento in the future, but only time will tell. Anyways, here is the bottom of the box. Looking very nice. Top of the box. Not top of the box, that's the right side of the box. This is the top of the box. Here's the left side of the box. And then you got the back side of the box again with that beautiful box art right there. You got the aircraft name, and then you got your warning hazards and your Boeing licensed product. And item number of this model is 55128. So super excited to have this model in my collection. Once again, it's going to be a replacement with my first iteration of the Hawaiian 787. And of course, NG Models with the Hawaiian Airlines Libby does a stunning job on the color. And look at, gosh, that looks fantastic right there, man. The saturation of the color is what really stands out with this model right there. Anyways, I got my CRP, a very different design, as I did got this CRP before. So, looking very cool right there. And this is, yeah, it doesn't show what year it was, but this is a really cool CRP or point card from NG Models right there. So, really happy to have that. But we have this Hawaiian 787 to unbox. But man, that looks fantastic, honestly. Like, gosh. This puts, I mean, don't get me wrong, the Gemini Jet's coloring is good on their Hawaiian models, but the NG hits different. But man, that looks, gosh, that looks beautiful. Man, the coloring is on point. Like, the saturation of the color is really good. Let me check for any QC problems. No QC problems right there. Let me see if we have both antennas. Man, that looks stunning right there, ladies and gentlemen. Gosh, man, NG Models, that is like a stunning model right there. gosh, I have no words, but that is really, really cool. Alright, let me set her down. Take a look at that beauty right there, the Hawaiian 787-9 Dreamliner. It's a pretty model right there, I gotta say. It's just like everything from the colors and like the mold itself, that's just like perfection right there. Literally just perfection. That is so cool to see. Really glad to have this in my collection, and overall I'm looking forward to using this model more often compared to the previous one. But still, great work NG Models on this beauty right here. And here's the NG Models 1/400 scale Hawaiian Airlines Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner, the second release iteration of this particular aircraft. Looking stunning as ever right there, ladies and gentlemen. Man, that is just a job well done from NG Models. Really glad to have this in my collection. And yeah, I mean, I already have a NG 787-9, but this is the direct replacement since it almost has the accurate stuff for 781. So we're really glad to have it. And yeah, let's get started with the model review. So you got the cockpit windows right there, and of course you got your nose shape. Looking very nice on NG 787 mold. You got your nose landing gear and nose landing gear door containing the ETOF logo and part of the aircraft registration. You got the Boeing 787-9 tiles right there, and then you got the pitot tube details. There's your aircraft name, which is Kapawahi. If I'm pronouncing that correctly, I'm trying to pronounce Hawaiian words, but yeah, that's the aircraft's name right there. You got your L1 boarding door and the Hawaiian flag. You got some sag port details, and then this is where domestic first will be on many of these Hawaiian aircraft. So kind of like domestic first. I'm guessing it runs from here all the way to like over here, and then you can see some premium economy classes which will run from here to over here. There's your L2 boarding door right there, and then, let me focus again, there's your top antenna as well. Moving on to the middle section of the aircraft, you got your General Electric GENX engines, well proportional and accurate in size, and there's some really good details from the exhaust pipe, like the exhaust areas and the chevron tubes, which is very nice to see right there. You also got your main landing gear as well. And then there's the Hawaiian lei, and for some reason, there's some kind of like gloss effect to it, which I think this is kind of like similar to what Gemini Jets has. I might do a model comparison between this iteration and then my previous iteration, but that's really interesting to see, because like I think the first iteration did not have this. I will have to go back to that, but still, this is quite interesting to see. I think, I'm not sure if this has to do with the saturation or something, but still. That's quite interesting to see, and I don't know why NG Models decided to do this, but yeah, I might have to figure that out. There's also the Hawaiian Airlines logo right there, and then yeah, there's like the decals on the doors. So yeah, Hawaiian Airlines logo is right there, but there will also be like a Starlink logo right there at the bottom. So yeah, most of Hawaiian Airlines' planes have the Starlink logo that's printed on their doors. Moving on to some wing details. As you can see, really good wing details right there. You got your rake wingtip, which is right there, and then you also got your canoes, flap check fairings, and then all your various like spoilers and ground spoilers, and then your spoilers and flaps right there. Looking very nice, and then you also got some good printed details right there. Moving on to the back area of the aircraft, you got your US flag right there. There's your LC door. You got the Dreamliner tiles right there, or the Dreamliner logo, and then the aircraft registration, November 781 Hotel Alpha. Once again, Hawaiian second Dreamliner and their first delivered 787. There's your L4 door, and then you got the flowers right there, which NG Models did a good job on the Hawaiian Airlines livery. The colors are really saturated on this livery, like literally. That's just really cool. It almost looks like the actual, like, almost similar to like the actual Hawaiian Airlines livery in general, but still, this is a job well done from NG right there. And then moving on to the empennage area of the plane, you got your APU and your horizontal stabilizers, and the Hawaiian Airlines logo with the lady on the tail. I think her name, if I'm pronouncing this correctly, is Pualani, if I were to take a guess, but yeah. That's the iconic logo for Hawaiian Airlines like there, and they did some like revamps on like many of their liveries. They would have like one that's like in the 80s, and then there will be another iteration of it in the 2000s, and then we have this current version right there, which I think it looks more vibrant. Moving on to the front section, of course you got your front section right there, you got your fan blade details right there, and your cockpit windows. I know it's kind of like blurry, but still, I think NG Models did a good, there we go. So I think NG Models did a good job on the cockpit window details. There's your emergency exit hatch of the plane. And then moving on to the starboard section of the aircraft. Let me zoom out. There's your starboard area. You got your R1, R2, and R3 doors, and R4 as well. And then your forward cargo bin is right there, and your aft cargo bin is also right there. And I also want to mention that there is a bulk compartment at the port side of the plane. Moving on to a top view of the plane. So here's a top view of the plane. Not much on details. And yeah, like nothing much. I don't see a beacon light anywhere, which I don't know why there's no beacon light, but I think that's like a printing issue. So that's kind of like the only downside I can give for this model, is there's no top beacon light anywhere. But on the bottom, you can see the bottom beacon light for some reason, which I don't know why there's no. Again, I don't know why there's no top beacon light printed in there, but still. Moving on to the bottom, you got your rat turbine doors and your main landing gear doors, and yeah, you can see more bottom details right there. So great work, NG Models, like getting some extra details on the bottom. Moving on to the front section. This is a beautiful front section of the plane, once again looking very nice right there. And then moving on to the back, here is the back section of the plane. So overall, great work, NG Models, on this aircraft right there. Gosh, this honestly looks really beautiful, and honestly, I gotta give NG some credit on this, because like it's been a while since they last done a Hawaiian Airlines aircraft. The last one was literally the 787-9, the first iteration of that, so 780. But still, they still did a good job on this aircraft, and honestly, me as a Hawaiian employee, I'm really glad to have this 1/400 model in my collection. I might see if I want to try to get the Gemini 200 version, depending if I worked on a Hawaiian 787 or flown on one. But still, no matter what the case is, I'll still probably get that 1/200 Hawaiian 787 in the future. But still, it's a very nice small in 1/400 scale from NG, and I'm really glad to have it for my collection in replacement of my first iteration. So yeah, that's gonna be for a trade, by the way. But overall, really nice model right here. Alright, let's move on to probably like the best model for this unboxing, which is gonna be that United 767, because you know I've been wanting one for my collection for years. So, well, excluding all the retro stuff, but a more modern one. So with that being said, let's move on to the United 767. Super excited for that model. Alright, and here we go with this beauty right here. Next model up is the NG Models 1/400 scale United Airlines Boeing 767-300ER. This model is considered to be my white whale model, because I've been wanting a United 763 in the Evil Blue livery since the beginning of my collecting years. I've been trying to look for this model on eBay. Gemini just was the last one who released a Evil Blue United 763. That model was already sold out, and if I ever try to find them on eBay, those go up at a hefty price, and honestly, I don't want to be paying that much money for a Boeing 767 for United Airlines in this livery. So when NG Models announced this in their January 2025 releases, I was really onto this model right there. I'm beyond really happy. I'm beyond fortunate that NG Models has finally made a 763 from United Airlines, and honestly, I hope they could try to make the Continental Globe one though. But still, more particular, I want this Evil Blue one, because the Evil Blue livery looks stunning on the 767, and I do have the 764, so why not add the 763 to my collection? So let's get started with the review. I just can't wait to unbox this. So you got the United logo right there, Boeing 767-300ER itself right there, CGI image of the plane. You got the beautiful box art, which is just like all the different shades of blue, and you can see like the globe logo that's kind of nearly filling this entire front area, like the front area of the box. That's honestly just really, really cool right there. So NG Models did a fantastic job on the box art for the United 763. You got the Boeing license logo right there, 1/400 scale collectible model, die-cast metal, and then you got the aircraft registration, which is November 673 Uniform Alpha. I've seen United 763s before, and I remember they would send in 763s constantly during like 2021 throughout the pandemic. So yeah, back when passenger demand wasn't really that high, but it was still cool to see one in the Evil Blue livery. They would sometimes send this, but not too often. Here's the bottom of the box. Right side of the box, top of the box, left side of the box, and here is the back side of the box. Kind of the same thing as before. For some reason, I have never seen the NG Models logo on many of their recent releases. I'm not sure what's the case, but I'm guessing it has to do with like copyright stuff and like licensing stuff as well. Anyways, you got your warning hazards right there, Boeing licensed product, and the item number of this model is 17003, which is like one of NG's like newest like 767s. Once again, the first 767s were those Delta Airlines 767s, but it's really nice to add this in my collection. They also did a United 763 with the aircraft that did the hard landing. They also did a model of that particular plane in that same release set, but I do want to go for the standard Evil Blue version, because that thing is just a beauty right there, and gosh, there she is, man. Man, like, I've been looking for this model for, again, since the beginning of my collecting years. And I finally have it in my collection at long last. Gosh, that thing is a beauty. I'm not sure if I want to get more but yeah, who knows. But here's their CRP, same CRP as before. But I just want to get into this model. Gosh, that thing is a beauty right there. Come on out, baby. This is my second NG 767 in my collection after getting that Delta one, but adding a United one to that lineup is just a great addition. And gosh, yes, man. Oh my god, that is, yeah, wow, holy crap. That thing is just a beauty right there. Let me see if the quality control is on point right here on this model. Good with the wings, horizontal stabilizers, tail looking good, antennas, and gosh, there she is. Man, welcome to my collection, United 763 Evil Blue livery. Wow, that is just a stunning model right there. Never miss it for the world right here. Really glad to finally have this beauty in my collection. Gosh, oh my god, I can't believe I'm holding this for the first time. Everything from like the mold and just the color is just on point right there for NG. Man, that is, gosh, wow, like really glad I got this model from Jet Collector. That thing is just a beauty right there. I just have no words right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's just a stunning model. Wonderful job, NG Models. That is just I mean, like, it's a good model, not a pure perfection model, but it's just nearly perfect. I'll go into the details about this particular model once I get into the next clip, but still, this is an amazing model to have, and once again, welcome to my collection, United 767 300ER Evil Blue. And here's the NG Models 1/400 scale United Airlines Boeing 767 300ER in the Evil Blue livery. Model acquired, ladies and gentlemen. Really glad to finally have this model in my collection. Man, from the beginnings of my collecting years to now, I can't believe it has officially ended. I finally have this model at long last. Gosh, that's just a beautiful model from NG Models. God, man, like, golly, that's just beauty right there. Anyways, let's have a look at the model. So we're gonna get started with our model review as per usual. So let's get started. Man, I can't wait to review this. You got the cockpit windows right there, and then you got the nose shape of the plane. I'll say NG Models did a great job on the nose shape of the Boeing 767. However, some might complain that the cockpit windows are a little bit too small and a little bit too high, but from what I'm seeing with this model, I think they kind of like slightly changed the cockpit windows, and I think it's printed a little bit too high still, but I think they enlarged the cockpit windows just a little bit. So I think that's what I'm seeing on my camera. I might look at some other reviews from or this particular model in general, but still, I think that's just a little bit of improvement. I think it could have been done a little bit better, but I still think this is a good standard for NG. You got your nose landing gear and nose landing gear door. There's the ETOPS logo and the aircraft ship number. You got the Star Alliance logo right there, and then the connecting people uniting the world tiles right there. You got your pitot tubes right there, and of course the iconic like swoop that starts off on the forward area of the plane to the aft area, and then there's your great underbelly as well. Moving on to the middle area, like close to the middle area, you got your top antenna and the big blue, like big United Evil Blue billboard tiles right there, which I think NG Models did a phenomenal job on printing the Evil Blue tiles, like the United tiles on this aircraft. And then there's your windows right there. From here to like, I'm guessing over here is the Polaris class, and then premium economy, and then your economy stuff right there. There's your GE CF6 engines right there. Most of United 767s operate with GE CF6 engines, which in this model, they're well proportional in size, and they have some really good accuracies right there. So really nice to see that from NG. There's your main landing gear right there. Then there's your emergency exit doors. And did I mention the L1 boarding door? Did I? There's your L1 boarding door right there. Anyways, you got your pitot static, like static port details right there, and all of your stuff. There's your winglet. Now, some might complain that the winglet, like the tip area of the plane, is a little bit too thin, but I think, I mean, it kind of looks like that on my camera, but they kind of like would sometimes like adjust the molds just to make sure that the winglet looks good, which from what I'm seeing, I think NG Models did a good job on the representation of the 763's winglet, which honestly, it does look very nice in 1/400 scale. Moving on to the wing details. So here are your wing details right there. You can see all your various like details from the ailerons to the ground and flat spoil, like the ground and flight spoilers. Got your, I think that's a flaperon right there, and then your flat track canoes, your flaps and slats right there, and all your engine pilots and all your printed details. Moving on to the back area of the plane. So here's the back side of the plane. You got your Wi-Fi dome and your back antenna, and then there's your bottom antenna right there. You got all your printed windows as well. There's your L2 door. You got the November 673 Uniform Alpha, which is the plane's registration, and there's your US flag after that. There's your aircraft ship number, and then there's the aircraft's bulk compartment. And then moving on to the empennage area of the plane, you got your APU alongside the tail skid dragger, which I do like on how they added that on the 767. There's your horizontal stabilizer details, which once again, they do have that great details on like, just similar to the wings. That's what I meant to say. And of course, you got the beautiful United Airlines Evo Blue tail. Gosh, that looks very stunning on this aircraft, and I think NG Models did a great job on the printing of it and the saturation of the color right there. Gosh, that looks beautiful. I think NG Models has the best, like in my opinion, it has the best printing and like the color details of the Evo Blue livery. That's just fantastic right there from NG. That's what I look to see from them right there. Anyways, moving on to the front, you got your fan blade details. I'm not sure if you can see the fan blade details, but they are there. But yeah, not much on details, but at least NG added some fan blade stuff right there. There's your cockpit windows once again on the front view, and then you can see some windshield wiper details right there. So really nice that NG Models was able to add those features on the cockpit windows. And then here is the starboard section of the plane. You got your R1 and R2 door. There's your forward cargo bin, and there's your aft cargo bin, which is all the way at the very back. And as I give you guys a top view of the plane, here's the top view of the plane, looking very nice as per usual, not much on detailing, but there's your red beacon light right there. Moving on to the bottom section, I do love the bottom section. You can see there's some good details, but I do love the fact that they added in molded in air intakes and then some other molded in stuff right there. You also got your stand hole as well, and yeah, it's once again a two-piece mold, which I'm really glad that NG Models did a two-piece mold on their 767 mold, so that's absolute effort base right there from NG. Moving on to the front section, here is the front section. Ground flex configuration on the wings right there, so that's what I love to see also. And the back section of the model, which is right there. So overall, gosh, I have no words, honestly. I just have no words on this model. I'm really glad to have this in my collection at long last. I've been finding this model for pretty much like 4 years in the making, honestly. Like, was it 1, 2? Yeah, actually no, 3 years in the making, and then there she is. Gosh, that looks beautiful right there. What a way to finish off this unboxing with this particular model right here. Really glad to have it in my collection, and I'm looking forward to featuring that on my future Roseville International Airport updates. Man, great work, NG Models. Great work right there on this aircraft. Thank you so much. Thank you, NG. Gosh, I'm really happy right now. What a beautiful model to end off this unboxing. So, let's line up all my two models, and we're going to conclude this video from there. So with that being said, let me line my two models, and we're going to conclude this video. And here are my two wide-bodied aircraft from NG Models. Gosh, that looks amazing right there. This is absolute effort base from the Hawaiian 787 to the United 767. Gosh, I'm just really glad to have these in my collection. Both of them are pivotal assets, especially for that United 763. Overall, they're just beauties right there. They're just beautiful models, and honestly, I can't thank NG Models enough for making these. Gosh, I mean, sometimes NG would tend to like struggle with releases, but for as long as they release something really good and me getting a model of them, I'm really impressed on the efforts from NG Models right there. Man, these are just beauties right there. Gosh. Man, like, I'm eager to see what NG Models has to release in the future. Probably some more good North American releases, and hopefully we can see some good releases from NG Models. They've been on a streak of good releases as of late. Well, as of this recording, they did release their March releases, which that's also good too. They got like the Delta MD-88, Trump 757, and a Korean Air 748. But still, but these models, these are just really good, and I'm looking forward to see what NG Models has to offer for the table for the next months for 2025. And yeah, once again, I'm looking forward to hopefully feature these models in future Roseville Airport updates, and I'm just really glad to have them for my collection. So, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and turn on that post notification bell so you won't miss a video like this anytime soon. And if you want to see more of my model plane unboxings, then you can click on that playlist, and it shows you all my model plane unboxings from there, and you can also check out my model plane content playlist as well. So, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I already said it. So, thank you guys for watching. Wait, what am I saying? Okay, oh yeah, I kind of was like, oh, I was saying things correctly, but I think I said the subscribing things wrong. But that's it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Anyways, good night.